you talked a lot about competing with yourself.
Yeah.
And being in competition with yourself and not comparing to external forces or how other people are doing.
Yep.
For me, it's easy to look up to try to get a benchmark of, okay, how am I doing? Which quickly shifts into comparison.
Yeah.
How would you go about adjusting?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I think benchmarks are critical and comparison is deadly. And we live in a world of comparison. You're right. I mean, does social media even exist without it? And so many young people now are, whether it's the Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you know, all the old fogies like me still on Facebook. The fact is, it's curated content. And so when we compare our actual life to someone else's curated content, and I'm going to talk about it. We had Dermot did an interview on our podcast years ago, a fellow named Tim Tatter, brilliant photographer. And he's a guy that's brought in to help people build an image and stage image. And he's a guy, he charges 6 figures to do a photo shoot for a day, okay? And it wasn't until he had a teenage daughter and he started to see what she was struggling with and the anxieties that were coming along and so on and so forth. I was like, hang on a second here. I need to kind of almost take a value check of his own work. Why? Because they create this image of, you know, this Instagram model who's coming out of a pool, perfectly coiffed and everything. And they don't know that's a full day and an entire staff of people and a team of makeup artists and specific lighting that's created and all that stuff. And they might spend 12 hours to get 4 photographs. And then those 4 photographs are curated content that's put out on social media. And now you have a 16-year-old girl comparing herself and she says, oh, I get out of the pool, I look like a mess. Okay? And so therefore there's something wrong with me. The thing is this, when we compare ourselves to other people, we're comparing our gifts that God gave us with others. And we're either going, mine are better than what God gave you, or mine are less than what God gave you. And it's actually putting ourselves in a position of the divine. My gifts are better than your gifts, or my gifts are worse than your gifts. And that has nothing to do with us. It has to do with the giver, not the gift. Benchmarks are critical. So that's why we have goals. And it's okay sometimes to go, oh, this person, like you can compete in the marketplace. Right? This person has market share. This person has had a certain level of success. This person paid off their debts in a year. How'd they do that? And we can learn from those things. And we don't want to live in this competitionless world. But it's competing with yourself is a much higher purpose. For example, for me to go and say, okay, I've done 2,500 seminars. I've spoken to millions of people all over the world. Am I going to sit down and compare myself to a speaker and go, I'm better than them? You know, I try to find people that are brilliant at what they do and then say, okay, what are the things you do to get to the next level? How can I get to the next level in what I do? How can I be the best in the world at what I do? Well, so, you know, I can learn from Apollo Ono as a skater. I can learn from Dan Jansen. I can learn from Sydney McLaughlin, a 400 meter hurdler who's 22 years old. I can learn from her without comparison. So I don't think any less of myself because I can't run 400 meter hurdles in 50 seconds, right? That, because we all know that's like stupid. But, and I think for men, you know, there's the classic measuring sticks, your net worth and your self-worth and things like that. So I think milestones are great, benchmarks are great, comparison is deadly. I think it's the biggest epidemic in our country today. And I think we need to develop our own self-belief and help our young people develop their self-belief and get out of the comparison mode. Then enjoy the TikTok video without thinking any more or less of yourself.